Hello everyone, this is MykeCheck'd95 with another MykeCheck'd Productions MykeCheck'd movie review, as promised by me and the Harbinger from a few days ago. Yeah, he is gonna be a character that's gonna be around for a while, so I guess there's that. But at least he said he wouldn't be appearing in this video or the next one out of respect for me doing this in respect of Chadwick Boseman. This review will be about Captain America Civil War, one of my favorite movies that had the actor Chadwick Boseman in. I think it's the first one he was in starring as Black Panther. I could be wrong, but off the top of my head, as of right now, I think this was the first one that he was in. Before we get on to the rest of this video, I do have Patreon accounts for both RDW Red Dust Wrestling and MykeCheck'd95 in the description box and on the links right here on the video screen. Be sure to look those up and click on them and support your homeboy here, MykeCheck'd95, or on the Red Dust Wrestling channel. Still really backed up on that. I do apologize. I'm just having a hard time getting that done, and that's not really anybody's fault but my own. Anyways, Captain America Civil War. This was probably one of the very few Marvel films in the MCU that I actually went back and watched twice. Maybe 3 times. I think I saw this one 3 times. I know I saw it twice. I don't know what it was, but it was, I would say the Captain America trilogy was one of my favorite set of movies in the MCU, and I would honestly compare them to the Dark Knight trilogy, but that's just my personal opinion. Civil War, it is what it obviously states. It's about the whole superhero rights movement thing, where half of the superhero group thinks they need to sign up with the government, and the other half says they don't need to do that because they pretty much live by their own path or whatnot. And it's pretty much an inner battle between Captain America and Iron Man, which of course they couldn't exactly 110% do that story from the comics because half the characters at the time were either owned by Fox or Universal, or it just didn't work out that way. So we got what we got, which is still pretty good. It was a little, looking back now, it seemed like it was a little bit clustered, throwing in like Captain America trying to go in and save Bucky, the whole Civil War storyline, the introduction of Black Panther, and tying in Bucky as the reason why of the whole Civil War Act, the Superhero Registration Act, whatever. I think that's what it's called. And also another reason why the act was tied in was because of after the events of Age of Ultron, which personally I am really happy this movie took after the events of Age of Ultron, because personally I've yet to watch the film in its entirety since I saw it in theaters, but I still think Age of Ultron, it did not feel like a complete movie. It felt like, and I still don't know what's wrong with it, in my opinion. I need to go back and watch Age of Ultron again, but this movie I feel like picked up where Age of Ultron left off. And Age of Ultron was like the first half of the story, and this was the second half. This is the ending that Age of Ultron needed, I think. That might be what it is that I need to watch Age of Ultron followed by this movie to make it more meaningful, I guess you can say. The introduction of Black Panther is in this film, and this is kind of our first look of Chadwick Boseman as the Black Panther, and he does a fantastic job as this hero. And as I'm going to be talking about the next movie in the next review, he just does a fantastic job as the character Black Panther, and it just, to me, it surprised the hell out of me, because I know very little about Black Panther other than the fact when I was growing up as a kid I thought he was cool because he was a cat. I was a cat person. Just like learning a little bit about his backstory, just a little bit, not enough to kind of like make me want more, but not too much to know what's going on about the character. But it's just, he was introduced in there really well, and it's just, he wasn't really like a big leading factor of the story, but he did enough in the story to make him relevant, and he's kind of part of the reason why the whole battle didn't get any worse than it did between Iron Man and Captain America, or Stark and Rogers. But the damage was still done from the main villain. It's just Black Panther was able to keep from anything else from happening. But it was still fantastic to watch all the way through to the end. I would say that this is part of my favorite set of movies, the Captain America trilogy from the MCU. I don't really talk about the MCU too much. My friends usually do more often. I do like superhero films. I guess you could say I'm more of a DC guy because I tend to talk about Batman movies more, and I guess horror movies as well. I would put this in like my top 5 or at least top 10 favorite MCU films, or just Marvel films in general. It's just a good watch. It's a great cap off to the Captain America trilogy, and it's great leading towards the events of Infinity War and Endgame. But all in all, this movie honestly gets an 8.9 for me out of 10. It's like I said, it's a little clunky at places here and there when you're cramming a lot of stories into one movie, but it worked well enough to where it was coherent enough and it was fluent enough to where the stream of stories didn't get clogged up by what was all getting thrown into the little river and the river of ideas. But 8.9 out of 10, I would say, is for Captain America Civil War. Honestly, what were your guys' thoughts about Captain America Civil War? Do your thoughts match with mine? Is this one of your personal favorites? Do you actually not like this movie? And is there another MCU film that you like more than this one? Let me know down in the comments and social media. It'll be all over the description box and whatnot, so you can get a hold of me. This is MykeCheck'd95 with another MykeCheck'd Productions MykeCheck'd movie review, signing out. And this is my part 1 of 2-part series of movie reviews paying respects to Chadwick Boseman. Rest in peace, man. I never actually got the opportunity to watch Black Panther in theaters when it came out. It was probably around the time where, was it 2018? Yeah. It was around the time where money was very tight for me and I just couldn't afford the time or the money to go see it in theaters, which I really wish I did. But I got the opportunity to watch Black Panther later on that year. The reviews that has been done about this film in the past, they don't lie. This film is really good, and it blows my mind about how great this movie is. And this is honestly coming from a guy who thinks The Dark Knight is like a 5-star movie. And again, I am going to be a little bit biased. I do think The Dark Knight is still a little bit better than this film, but that's only because of my biased opinion. But you gotta cut me some slack on that since I am a Batman fan. When it comes to Black Panther, this is definitely one of the top 5, if not top 3 best fucking Marvel Avenger films in the MCU that they've ever made. I mean, it's well enough that it got nominated for Best Picture, and I think it should have won Best Picture, but I digress. Thinking about this film now, looking back at it, just makes me wish that they would have signed on Chadwick Boseman as Black Panther a few years earlier than where they signed him on now, so that we could get a Black Panther 2 with him, because he is so good as Black Panther. It just makes you want to go back and watch this movie again, and it tells a really good message at the end, pretty much, and that we all need to come together and just help each other like one single family tribe. And it's a great message in the movie. It's a great movie in general, and we need more superhero films like this, and they're just hard to find when it comes to making hero movies like this. Killmonger has got to be one of my favorite villains of all time, in the top 5 at least. I mean, another one of those villains where you know what he's doing is wrong, but the message behind it, why he's doing it, it makes sense, why he's doing it, but you know that he's a villain and everything, so you gotta kind of feel bad for him, you feel for him, you mourn for him. Kind of like what I said about General Zod and Man of Steel just a few weeks back, and my point still stands with that. The Killmonger, Michael B. Jordan did a great fucking job. Because everyone in this movie did a great fucking job, I would say. And it's just like, ooh, God, like, we need more superhero movies like this, with this kind of messages, and the villains that you can feel bad for and fear for at the same time. All in all, another 8.9 out of 10, I would say, for this movie. Like, it's just, it is great. I love this film. Again, like I said, I am biased when it comes to Batman films. I still think it's a little bit better, but my bias putting aside, this is gonna be one of the best Marvel superhero films I've seen in like a very long time, and I definitely recommend you guys to go watch it. I don't know anybody that hates this movie. I mean, some people may dog on some of the CGI, but I mean, not every film's perfect. The CGI in most movies are not gonna be like fantastic. But all in all, 8.9 out of 10. Black Panther is a very great movie. This has been another MykeCheck'd Productions, MykeCheck'd movie review by MykeCheck'd 95. Signing out. Wakanda forever.